Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Lauren's London. This channel is devoted really to walks around London. It's probably my favourite thing in the world to do, is just to wander aimlessly around London, taking photos as I go and finding new places, finding places that have changed since the last time I was there, and generally just wandering around. This video comes from a walk around Covent Garden. There's been some sort of market at Covent Garden since the Middle Ages, and in 1830 the market buildings that you'll still see today were built, and they were built to house at that time London's central fruit and veg market. So the fruit and veg market ran there from 1830s right up to the 1970s, when it was closed and they moved the market to Nine Elms in the southwest of London. Being such a famous place, and it's hugely popular with tourists nowadays, there's been quite a few books and films based around the market. Possibly one of the most famous is Eliza Doolittle from My Fair Lady. She was a Covent Garden flower seller. We've also got Alfred Hitchcock, whose father worked in the market as a fruit seller. He based his 1972 film Frenzy around the market, and I really hope it's not based on his true life experience, because it's based around a fruit seller who becomes a serial killer. After the fruit and veg market closed, the 1830s building was at risk of being demolished, but Londoners at that time began to protest. It was saved, it became a listed building, and you can still see the buildings now as they were, and it's become a hugely upmarket area. You'd be quite surprised at the variety of shops there, from Chanel to market stalls selling bric-a-brac. Altogether a really interesting area. If after watching the video you'd like to find out a bit more about the history, look down below in the links, and I've linked to an old film from Pathe about the closure of the market. Before I set off, I check the weather. It's a lovely January morning, a little bit of cloud, mostly a lot of blue sky, perfect. Covent Garden tube station is one of the busiest, but on a winter weekday morning it's fine, and it takes you right into the heart of the action. Stepping out of the tube and directly opposite is Tiffany the Jewellers. I really like their living green wall. I see these cropping up more and more now, and it's interesting to think how this principle could be used in the future in space-saving vertical food farming. Heading towards the market, you can see a few of the old market barrows have been preserved and decorated. They're really beautiful, and they're one of the things I'd like to photograph. Another preserved feature is the red phone box. You only see these in tourist or heritage areas now. Wish I could have jumped that bollard as neatly. Early morning is a great time to visit because you don't have to share the space with crowds. We're looking now at the imposing colonnaded market building with its wonderful glass roof structure. These colonnaded walkways are a beautiful feature all around the market, and in the next clip we see one leading up to one of the entrances to the Royal Opera House. I've taken a note to come back here on a rainy day. This could be a perfect sheltering place for taking photos of people rushing by. There's something so photogenic about umbrellas, and for me especially black ones. Looking across to the market again, we can see the luxury shops in this part of the market, which include Chanel and Dior. It's a far cry from the greengrocers of yesteryear. I love this wintry Narnia style window decoration, and I wonder if I bought a pair of their glasses and put them on, would they have the same effect as stepping through the wardrobe? Moving inside the main market hall now, we can see that the original structure has been maintained and the columns have been painted a beautiful soft shade of blue. Traditional glass lamps hang from the ceiling. Oh, there goes a fast worker. Looking up, we can see the complete glass ceiling flooding the market hall with light. And in the centre of the hall, there's a cosy looking covered-in restaurant. Moving along to the next arcade, this one's narrower and has a completely different character. Again, it has the glass lamps, but in a slightly different design, and the white and green decor gives it a very classic look. The wonderful flagstone floor appears to be original. There are a lot of ice cream shops in and around the market. This one's Morelli's. I would imagine that in the summer almost every second person must be enjoying the market along with an ice cream. I love Morelli's little gondola dishes. There are too many market stalls to show, but I've picked this one because I'm always a sucker for bright, colourful lights. The market even has its own magazines, which just shows you how much there is going on in this area. I was surprised to see an East India Company shop. Checking it out online, I can see that it sells rare teas, chocolates, fine foods and hampers. And over 140 years since it was dissolved, the company has been brought back to life. Another beautiful ice cream shop leads me into a look at the lower floor of the market, where there are very often live classical musicians playing. Moving outside into the main courtyard, we have the Punch and Judy pub on one side, probably the most famous pub in Covent Garden, and on the other side of the courtyard we have the St Paul's Church. This courtyard is very busy in summertime, in the afternoons, lots and lots of tourists, lots of outdoor performers here, so it's actually really nice to see it when it's quiet. Looking back in towards the market, we see another colonnaded walkway. Again, a completely different style. It's just the beauty of this area that there are so many covered areas, lovely to walk around on a rainy day. And looking outwards from the market, we see the Ivy, the Covent Garden outpost of the Ivy, a very popular London restaurant. We're now walking towards a completely different covered market, This one has a totally different character, bric-a-brac, vintage, lots of different things. The London Transport Museum is a long-standing fixture in this area, very popular. This open-air cafe, I would say definitely not traditional London and definitely a continental import, but I'm sure it's really popular and I'm sure it's packed in the summertime. I wonder if this little man has been modelled on the Muffin Man who lives in Drury Lane. You might remember the song. Moving away from the market now and just a street away, I start to notice there's quite a lot of French influence in the area. Perhaps it's because we're near the centre of Pathe in London? I'm not quite sure. And we can't walk too far without coming across another lovely ice cream shop. Walking around the outer side of the market now, we come to the extremely imposing facade of the Royal Opera House, sometimes simply known as Covent Garden. The Royal Opera House seats over 2,200, but if you can't get to a performance, there's a cafe, bar, restaurant, shop open every day to the public from 10 AM. The aerial walkway you can see high above Floral Street is called the Bridge of Aspiration officially. Unofficially, it's been called the Dancing Bridge because it connects the Royal Ballet School to the Royal Opera House. Having walked in a full circle now, right around the market, we've arrived back at Covent Garden Tube. We'll bypass Neil Street and head along Long Acre. On Langley Street, I see the second thing that I would like to take a photo of today. The first one being the Barrow in the marketplace. This one is a Mexican restaurant, but I really love the steps. Unfortunately, on the day that I passed, there were roadworks right outside, lots of traffic, lots of lorries. It wasn't possible. I'm going to come back again. This is Stanford's, a very famous map shop. So I did end up coming back here. I had to come back the next day actually, And I was lucky enough to catch this scene, this restaurant doorway, when there was nothing outside. I really love the tiles, I love the colours, I love everything about this. So this is the one that I made my main photo of this walk. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it. And if you did like it, please give a like. Leave a comment for me. I'd be really interested to hear what you think, since this is my very first video. And if you'd like to subscribe to see more, please click the subscribe button and click the bell as well, and you'll be notified. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.